Hello brick sculptors and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris and today I've got an exciting one for you. Today we're going to talk about potted plants and I've got a lot of them to show you. So let's go through some tips and tricks and how to make better potted plants for your Lego city. Please feel free to steal any of these ideas. These are all here for you. Let's get started. When building plants, I always like to have a nicely organized container of parts. I am low on some of these right now because I just built a whole bunch of plants for this video, but I keep all my flowers up top here, different leaf pieces, different branch and stem pieces, and it makes it go real smooth when you can see everything in front of you like this. So I use this container pretty religiously here to make sure I get all the stuff I need for building plants. So let's go ahead and start with some pretty basic stuff, just some countertop vases. So here we go, I got a nice row here. These are just these simple cone pieces. You can do them in solid colors or in clear if you want it to look like glass. This one here is orange or a white one. And they just have these little 3-leaf pieces stuck in top with the Friends hair flower pieces. These are super handy. If Lego Friends has contributed anything to Lego City, it's flowers. Once I found that these plugged into here, it kind of changed everything. So it makes for a really nice small-scale potted plant for a countertop or a table. Over here we expanded on the idea a little bit. Same type of vase. The difference here is I took one of these bottle toppers and stuck it in the bottom to give it a little bit more shape and a little more height. I think those look really cool. Again, I've got some different colors here. This one's supposed to look like glass. And you might want to, if you're doing this, pull the flower up a little bit. They kind of, if you stick them all the way down, they sit kind of low, I think. So up kind of helps. But something you can play around with. Next up, we've got some clear glass. So here we have a little 6-pack. This is a good way in a city to say that like someone's a gardener. You know, maybe they have a bunch of cuttings sitting in mason jars, and you can do packs of them, kind of vary the height. You can pull some out a little bit more, have some sitting in, twist a few of them a little bit, just to make them not look super symmetrical. You could do a single 3-leafer, just sitting in one of these on a table. If you want to add on that, you could do a little like silver bottom on it to make it look more like a decorative vase. This one I really like. So what I did here, I just took one of these 1x1 rounds and took that bottle topper in the bottom. You can like make it like a stem glass if you set it up and barely put the thing in, and the flower just sits in there. You can even just put it at an angle so it kind of looks like a cut off flower just sitting in a vase, or you can push this all the way down too if you want to sit a little lower. Next up, we're going to get a little more creative with the pots we use. So these are super cool. These are the Technic pins, whatever you call them, tubes, that Technic pins would fit in. And they don't hold the flower on their own, but if you put it on a jumper, either a 2x2 or 1x1, you can then stick the flower in the jumper and it makes for a nice looking little pot. And you can get these in all different colors too. Expanding on that, if you do want to make it so you don't have to rely on it being built into a table, you can take a 1x1 plate with a hole in it, put it on the bottom, and make more of a freestanding pot like that. These two are kind of interesting, just playing around with techniques here. They don't actually stick down the way I have them built, but it kind of looks like a pot in a drip dish in like kind of a box. And what I used for this, obviously, our 3-leaf piece. This is one of those, I think they call it a hat, although I don't know why I would ever use that as a hat. It comes in various colors, but it's kind of that cone shape. This is just a disc in silver, and then a dark tan box. And you know, these are kind of cool. Again, you can't really stick them down the way I have them built, but they sit real nice on a counter. Now this idea here, I did a video previously on these little brown branch pieces, and they don't fit your traditional Lego flower, but they do fit the Friends flowers because they kind of stick up a little bit. They look really good on there. It makes a nice tight cluster of flowers. If you did these flowers on just a standard branch piece, one of these, they stick out way too far. They don't look good at all. But on these little guys, they look really good. So it makes for a nice little cluster here. This piece, I don't know what they call this either, but it's very similar to that hat piece. But these work really well as pots as well. And that's kind of what I bought them for. Now, these do create an anti-stud. So I have a little green 1x1 round in there, which kind of looks like dirt or moss or something. Now, expanding on that idea, I've got some other options here. This is a little dish piece, and I bought a lot of these pieces with making pots in mind. Stuck a few little of these 3-leaf pieces, and then another one of these 3-leaf or 3 stems. Now, the old school flowers do fit on these. They look a little cramped, but they do work. So it makes for a nice potted plant as well with a little bit more leafage on it. I got 2 of those, one in sand green here, one in light stone gray, and then a couple other potted plants. These I really like. So this one here is also that hat piece with the bottle topper on the bottom to make it look kind of more like a pedestal vase. 3-branch piece, and these are more like the daffodil looking flowers from Friends. Same idea here in a different color, different flower, and this one I think turned out awesome. I've had these rose pieces for a long time, but I never really use them because, again, when you put them on the traditional stem, they just look stupid. They stick way too far out. But on these smaller branches, they hug nice and tight, and it looks a lot better. And again, this is one of those cone-shaped pieces. Turns into an anti-stud. Use that green one, bottle topper on the bottom, and there you have it. Before we move on to our bigger plants, I put this guy together here. Succulents are a big thing, at least around where we live, even though we don't live in a desert. So I made a little table of succulents here. You know, some small cactuses with cacti. I think it's cacti. With flowers on top, a little bigger one here. This is the green ice cream piece. I kind of cheated for how I stuck that in the bucket. I did use some tape. Don't tell anyone. Another cacti back here. Little watering can in there, and then this would look good in the backyard or something. This is an interesting technique. It may or may not be illegal, but I just discovered how to do this just yesterday. So the cauldron piece I've always thought would make an awesome pot, but it's really hard to fit anything in it. Well, those cone-shaped hat pieces, you gotta be careful because you can get them stuck, but they fit perfectly in there, giving you that anti-stud that you can build off of. So a good way to use the cauldron as a flower pot if you've ever wanted to do that, like I have, finally figured out the right piece to put in there. And a little table of cacti. All right, let's move on to some of the bigger plants here. We'll start with something real simple. Just some greenery. So here we have just some 3 leaves. This has a post running up through the middle. This is kind of, I don't know what you call this piece, but it's like a cone, but not to a point. And then a bottle topper for a pedestal on the bottom. This would be a good plant to put on like a porch or a deck or in a backyard or front yard. Just a nice, simple, green, leafy plant. A similar concept here, but with some different pieces. So this is just a stack. I did some of these 1x1 rounds down in there to fill up the space. Did a lighter green here with a carrot stick in the top, carrot stick leaf in the top. This has a dish on the bottom, and then one of these rounds. These make fantastic flower pots. So I buy up a lot of those, and you know, this sits well on its own, or you can attach it on a jumper on a single stud. But just nice leafy looking plant, indoor or outdoor. Maybe we can go one step further here. A similar type pot to the first one there, but this uses one of these 2x2 round donut type pieces with the hole in the middle. So you can take that stud and put it in the anti-stud and flip it over, make it a nice pot, and then just a nice leafy plant. I'm sure you guys may have seen this technique. It's pretty common But if you ever want to add leaves to these branch pieces, you put the flower on top like that. The branch will then go through and clip to the flower, and the leaf will just kind of float underneath it. So you can make it real leafy looking, even though there's no way to attach those leaves to the stems other than using a flower. So we can also take some existing parts and just put flowers in them. This is one of these 2x2 crates. The way I do this is it has a Technic cross in the bottom. So I just barely put in a Technic cross pin with a stud, and then a green 1x1 round with a hole in it fits on that, and you can put your flowers right on top of that. So it makes for a nice planter. They also make these in dark gray, which look good as planters as well. So a couple different things you can do with those. Same idea here with the cauldron, but a bigger plant. So we have that hat semi-cone shaped piece. Attach that to the bottom of our flowers, and it just slides on there snug. And just be careful, because if you jam that in there, you could probably get it stuck. But if that's all you're going to use it for, might not be a bad thing if you get it stuck. And it's got a nice round base, and that's a good looking plant. Now here's another similar one. Same concept with the plant, with the flowers. These are kind of more the Friends type flowers. But these are nice because they actually stick like down through the 3-leaf. And then you can fit them on those stems pretty easily. Just like that. And then we just have that sticking in one of these half dome pot shapes. And then here we have one of those hat pieces as like a pedestal. So it sits really nicely on its own, or you can put it on a jumper stud or a single stud. Just like that. Just a really nice potted big flower, you know, good on a front porch or something, or in a public area. Now this one I just thought up recently. Really was happy with this idea. I got a random bin of used Lego, and I found one single light gray palm tree piece. And last night as I was in bed, I go, I know what I could do with that. And I made it into a flower pot, and it works perfectly. I did put one 1x1 stud, 1x1 round with a hole in it in there to connect the plant. It does have a connection down in there, but it's kind of low and the branches kind of hit. And this fits perfectly on a single stud. So it'll fit just like that. Not the most common piece. You don't see those too often except for in reddish brown, which would work for a plant pot, but if that's the only color you have, it might get kind of the same if you keep using the same one. But I did have one of them, and it turned out to be an awesome little like floor vase. Here's another color of this same idea. Half dome with that hat piece. Just different colors of plants on it. This is one that I built. Actually, there's quite a few more pieces, but it's kind of like a large planter, something you would see out in a public square or a mall or something. The way I built this is I have 4 of these snot pieces where it has the block or the snot on 2 sides, all facing outward, and just built it into a square, and then put a 2x2 reddish brown jumper in there to represent dirt. And you can plug whatever plant you want right on top of it. Now I showed these in one of my earlier videos, although didn't get a lot of views, so it probably didn't get seen much. But these are some, I was playing around with these gold leaves I found on Pick-a-Brick. So I did some kind of like gaudy country club, church wedding looking plants. But another pot design here. Got the half dome, and then you can do it to a 2x2 round jumper to make for a nice floor vase. And this one, I love this pot. I don't care too much about the plants in it. I could do something different, but just the look of this vase, even just alone with no plants in it, looks awesome. It's got that hat piece, the half dome, different half dome. They fit together great, and then you just put it into one of these donut pieces and makes for an awesome vase. You can put whatever you want right in the top. Just a good looking plant. Last but not least, we can do a hanging basket. So we can take one of those half domes, put whatever flowers you want in it, just leave the center open, and then you use the rod, kind of like a string or a chain, put it right down the middle, and you can hang this under an awning or from a roof or even just a hook like this. Makes for a really, really good look. This one has some greenery on it. Same concept here, different colors. No leaves, just flowers on this one. If you don't have those half dome pieces like that, you can also do it with this piece here. I do like the look of that better, but this will work as well. Same thing, you plug the flowers in, and then you just put your pole right down the middle of the flowers and hang it from it. So a lot of different stuff here. I hope you guys got some ideas. Like I said before, you guys are welcome to steal any of these. That's why I do this channel. I like to show this stuff off because I think it's cool, and hopefully I can get some feedback too. If you guys have any other cool ideas or things I missed, let me know, because I'm always looking to learn new techniques, tips, and tricks on how to build Lego. Well, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to do more videos just like this in the future, and we will see you next time.